rule out. It's a cause that can be true, but then we'll also conduct our investigation. We've been able to also make sure that there was no casualty recorded in during this fire.
In some other story, Director of Communication and spokesperson for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's campaign team, Dennis Miracles Obuoje, has advised Ghanaians to disregard comments by the National Democratic Congress flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, suggesting that the One Student, One Tablet initiative was aimed at buying votes. John Mahama said the government initiated this policy to convince students turning 18 to vote for the new patriotic party in the December polls. But Mr. Obuoje, responding to these concerns, said that over the last 7 years, the government has demonstrated its commitment to transforming all sectors of education. We have more of these details for you in this video.
Lost elections because you could not deliver. Fast forward 2023, His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party, announced that we, the new Patriotic Party, were going to distribute tablets to students of senior high school in this country. The NDC, in their usual impossibility character and posture, came out to ridicule this announcement, hoping it would never come to reality. But on the heels of the hard-working Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the policy was launched, and distribution, as we speak, has started. Isn't it unfortunate that the failed former president and the NDC would, in the full-blown of hypocritical parade, come to display their bitterness towards a policy and especially its beneficiaries, who are all Ghanaians of this country? The incompetent former president, after promising to roll out and distribute tablets across this country and failing woefully to implement this promise, comes to question the priority of government to do the exact thing that he promised some 7 years, 8 years ago, and could not deliver.
The Director of Elections for the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Edward Omani-Boamah, has described the attitude of the ruling New Patriotic Party towards the missing biometric verification devices at the headquarters of the Electoral Commission as disappointing. Now, he argued that the biometric kits going missing from the EC headquarters under the surveillance of CCTV cameras unnoticed by the EC staff is very suspicious, emphasizing that the decision of the EC not to voluntarily divulge information about the theft is questionable.
The theft at the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. And I must say, it is very disappointing, the attitude of the NPP towards this theft. Why? Because if we can have the headquarters of the Electoral Commission of Ghana under CCTV surveillance, and there is significant components of biometric verification registration kits are stolen. And listen to me carefully. The EC did not voluntarily supply the information. It was the NDC's intelligence that picked up the theft case and questioned the EC in Parliament. The question is, but for the NDC's intelligence picking this up, when would the EC have informed the political parties? And so when the agenda included this briefing on the biometric devices, we decided that we will put forward the pertinent questions, which we read all to them. I would say over 97% of the questions were not answered. And I'll take you through them.
Moving on to another story, an AKUA High Court has granted an application for abridgment of time for the hearing of the case seeking to compel President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to receive the anti-LGBTQ+ bill from Parliament. This decision will ensure the court expeditiously hear the case, filed by the NDC MP Roxanne Nelson Defiamekpo, who is demanding several declarations over the president's refusal to receive the bill from Parliament. However, Mr. Defiamekpo in his suit is seeking a declaration that the president cannot prevent Parliament from transmitting a bill that has been passed to him.
If we hadn't gotten the expedited hearing, we'd rather come back on the 50th to take our motion. Then we'll have to wait for the other side to do their affidavit in opposition, and then we would now have to take a date for judgment. So it's rather expedites the case. We've cleared our side of the way, and then they have the opportunity to also respond, and then we proceed.
In a recent statement, NDC MP Defiamekpo voiced his discontent with the Attorney General's office's approach to managing a high-profile case. He criticized the Attorney General for allegedly giving precedence to certain cases over others, indicating a potential lapse in the equitable treatment of legal matters. The MP's concerns highlights the need for transparency and fairness in the judicial process.
You have an Attorney General who, in one case, wants a matter to be heard the next day, even though it's premature, and yet will come to court and say that he's not prepared. He hasn't filed any affidavit in opposition. We want to argue the matter strictly on law, but we'll ask for a date. I mean, the irony is so staggering, but here we are. But I prefer this to going to May or June. That we are just back from Easter, so the courts are very busy with part heads. So for a fresh matter like this to receive priority from the bench, it's refreshing. So I'm very happy that come the 18th, a decision will be made, whether in our favor or not. I believe that you have exhibited commitment in this.
That was Honorable Roxanne Defiamekpo right there, speaking about Parliament and its legislation concerning the anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Now moving on to another story. Member of Parliament for Bream, Kofi Adams, has accused the Bank of Ghana of inflating Ghana's debt through reckless spending and unauthorized payments. Kofi Adams, a member of Public Accounts Committee, has raised concerns about a staggering increase in Ghana's liabilities, ballowing from 459 billion Ghana cedis in 2021 to 810 billion Ghana cedis in 2022. Now, he attributed this surge to the bank's mismanagement. During a park engagement with the Bank of Ghana, Kofi Adams revealed questionable transactions. Now, he cited a $12 million payment to MS Power China International Group Limited for the irrigation project, despite no progress made so far for the country.
Government of Ghana have designed and paying companies for no work done and paying others for no contract whatsoever. We observed in the progress report of payments by the Bank of Ghana using our foreign exchange that they paid some companies like MS Power China International Group Limited that is supposed to construct the Pualugu irrigation project almost $12 million when no work has been done. You go to the site now, there's absolutely nothing. It's just a bush with about 25 pieces of blocks on the site. But they have been dashed $12 million by this government. Again, another company, MS Motor Angels, was paid almost $3 million. That's about $2,577,269 dollars for Temamoto Way extension project. This company had no contract to execute that project and did not do anything on the Temamoto Way that required payment of what? $2.577 million to them. The IMF, the World Bank have queried the gold for oil deal because it's shredded in all kinds of what? Secrecy. There's no transparency in the arrangement.
Should it be scrapped?
Completely. It doesn't make sense. It would have made sense if they say, oh, because you are buying the crude or finished products with gold, instead of buying maybe a barrel for $92, we are giving it to you for $80 because you are paying with gold. And so if your gold price is pegged at this is how much it would have cost you if you were paying cash or if you were doing other transactions other than with gold. But that is not the case. So clearly it's something that must be scrapped. It has not helped anywhere. The governor's answers that, oh, they wish now he's changing. That, oh, they want a commercial bank to be able to handle. Which commercial bank is capacitated to handle that in Ghana now? And are we going to say that to that commercial bank that you have a right, like they gave to Bank of Ghana, to purchase all goods? Is that commercial bank also going to be buying all the gold and therefore have access to it to use in the gold for oil deal? It doesn't make sense. That proposal doesn't make sense right away.
Now on to another story. The central bank says it is reassessing the model to hand over the commercial banks to focus on its core functions of monetary policy and maintaining price stability. The policy, according to the central bank governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, remains a strategic solution to boost the country's reserves and will be beneficial in the long term and contributes positively to Ghana's economic stability and development. He also reaffirmed its support for the government's gold for oil policy, asserting its importance for the nation despite its limitations.
That we recommend to continue because it helped us in the period of crisis. We only want to make sure that this is done by a commercial bank so that we can have time to focus on our operations as a central bank. So this is the discussions that we are holding going forward. But the ability to be able to exchange our natural resource directly for oil when oil prices get out of hands, we think that it's a very innovative program. So it's really about the central bank spreading itself too thin by trying to add gold for oil also into our business. But we are fully focused on buying gold to build our reserve. For the economy as a whole, I can tell you that things are improving. Our foreign exchange reserve levels are improving. Recently, the World Bank, thanks to the members of parliament, approved a facility, so we have had $300 million added to our reserves. All of that, strengthens our position to support you.
Now let's go for a very quick breather. When we come back, we have more news update for you right here on News in 30. Do stay with us.
Would you like to own a home, start a business, provide seed money, or a good education for your children? The Pro Wealth Plan answers all of life's questions. This is AKUA 9. She wants to be an engineer in future. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Hammond, plan to give her the best education but don't want to be unnecessarily burdened when she's ready for university in 10 years. Do you know how much it will cost AKUA to go to a local private university or university abroad in the next 10 years? AKUA's parents have signed up to a Pro Wealth Plan. They pay affordable monthly premiums that ensures they are able to fund AKUA's university fees and living expenses. When she's ready for university, Prudential will pay the maturity benefit and her parents can enjoy free insurance cover for an additional 5 years. In the unfortunate event that her parents pass away, Prudential will pay over 200% of the sum assured, which is 100% immediately, 10% annually to keep AKUA in her current school, and 100% at maturity for her chosen university. This means that Prudential Life has guaranteed AKUA's education regardless of life's uncertainties. The Pru Wealth Plan also covers a spouse or partner up to the same sum assured. With over 26 million customers, 24,000 employees globally, and over 170 years experience, you and your family can have peace of mind knowing that you are in safe hands. Whatever your financial goals are, the Pru Wealth Plan has the answers to life's questions. Call us today and let Prudential secure your future.
Fellow Ghanaians, I am your humble servant, Mr. Mbox. Unisamidie, Adia Efo, Neye Kama, and I make count for Eddie Emawo, and make count for Mbox 100 Koda, Eddie amount. Adia Yapa, and this one Kwejuma. Now, favorite movie, and answer telenovela, and our sports, Yaya Eddie Jawo. Hey, yo, Papa, with Mbox 100 decoder, who bet him the pen drive, as home, now I record your favorite movie, and answer telenovela. What me show connecting HDMI cable, Edman screen, buzzing, our Wi-Fi, Samsung and our LAN, there's the internet need a buzzing. Samsung not to me at the bottom. I'm a funny deal more. Put me at the board game, no feel. I wish I'm winning now. Mbox 100 decoder, over 15,000 channels. Ghana, and if you are suffering now, you could not a year free. What the answer subscribe 3 months. Abosumi a year 100 Ghana cedis per umpere. Now open your body. Majimidie, Unsuko, Nekwajodie, from 24 Matrofo 0505 776761 0505 776761. Mbox 100 decoder. Make your life colorful. Mr. Mbox, my Jimmy dear, me quote.
Welcome back from that very short breather. Now it's time for some global trends, and we are moving on to the global front today. And the Arizona Supreme Court ruled Tuesday that the 160-year-old near-total abortion ban still on the books in the state. It's irreversible or unenforceable. Now, a bombshell decision that adds the state to the growing list of places where abortion care is effectively banned. The ruling rules and allows an 11864 law in Arizona to stand that made abortion a felony punishable by 2 to 5 years in prison for anyone who performs one or helps a woman obtain one. Now, the law, which was confined in 1901 and began in 1913, outlaws abortion from the moment of conception, but includes an exception to save the woman's life.
Arizona faces legal uncertainty as the state Supreme Court has paused the enforcement of a Civil War-era abortion law. This 1864 statute, which predates Arizona's statehood, has caused the confusion after an appellate court decision to keep it in harmony with a 2022 law. The ruling potentially overturns a lower court's verdict that a 15-week abortion ban from 2022 took precedence. The Supreme Court's 14-day hold aims to allow a lower court to address unresolved constitutional issues, leaving the state's abortion clinics in limbo.
My executive order removing the ability of county attorneys to prosecute women and doctors for performing abortions remains. I refuse to allow extremist county prosecutors to use this abortion ban to lock up women and doctors seeking or providing needed.
That'll be all for news update right here on News in 30, but let's take a recap of today's news headlines. The Electoral Commission has announced Tuesday, April 30th, so following the death of the New Patriotic Party Member of Parliament, John Kuma. Structures at Begbeche, a suburb of Jamestown in Accra, on April 9, 2024. An Accra High Court has granted an application for abridgment of time for the hearing of the case seeking to compel President Akufo-Addo to receive the anti-LGBTQ+ bill from Parliament. And Central Bank says it is reassessing the model to hand over to commercial banks to focus on its core functions of monetary policy and maintaining price stability. Thank you for joining us for today's news update on News in 30 with me, Savar Aiden. Lunchbox is up next. Do stay tuned. News in 30 is brought to you by HSTV and